All right, chat, we got to talk about this. So everybody's been talking to me about how Pokemon ZA has made 6 million copies and sold 6 million copies, how successful it is, blah, 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 blah. And yes, that's great. Nobody is in doubt they were going to make copies, sell copies. Nobody doubted they did not make their money back. It's Pokemon. We all knew it was talking about. When we're talking about the downfall, the failures, we're talking about the actual company in a whole, the reputation, the fan base. A lot of people had buyer's remorse when it came to Pokemon. So I want to show you guys some numbers here that kind of, takes away from that fluff piece they were doing, because they were just trying to put out that title, and all you do is read the title, right? So it says Pokemon ZA sold 6 million copies, and then everybody's gonna be like, oh my god, that's so great, that's amazing, rah 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 rah. But in reality, when we compare it to the other games, it's not great. So if you see right here, ZA sold 6 million copies, 5.8 globally in the first week. If you compare it to the other games out there, you have Scarlet and Violet sold 10 million within the first 3 days. You have Sword and Shield that sold 6 million copies in the first week. Then you have Sword and Shield that sold more than 6 million copies in the launch weekend. So it's a weekend. And then you have Arceus that sold 6.5 million copies worldwide in the first week. So if you just compare it to the same Legends category, it's down. It's down 700,000 copies. That's significant. If you compare it to the other games in the franchise, it's significantly down. So is this a successful run or not? I would have to say no, because it's selling less than the last 3 games. It is having the worst terrible word of mouth, the worst backlash Pokemon's seen in maybe my entire life, to be honest. Maybe when Pokemon like Let's Go came out, but Let's Go came out, people were just upset that it was another remake. All we keep getting are remakes was the narrative back then. But at least Pokemon Let's Go turned into fan bases like all-time favorites. A lot of people love that game. They have a lot of nostalgia when it comes back to that game. I don't see that happening with ZA, but maybe it will happen in time. But there's so many critiques of this game. It is quite disheartening, to be honest, if you're a fan. So another thing I want to show you guys when we're talking about these numbers, again, these numbers, 6 million is great, whatever, it's great. They needed to sell, I think, what, it was like 250 to 400,000 copies to make their money back. The budget was so low, and you could see it in the game. The budget was terribly low. So you knew they're going to win, right? You knew they're going to make their money back. We have never criticized them financially for being a loser, like unsuccessful, but the losing aspect of this is the fan base. I didn't buy a game. Most of you didn't buy a game. And it shows right here. In the first week, it's down 700,000. That means 700,000 people did not buy. 700,000 fans skipped. That means, what was that, 4.2 million people didn't buy from the last game. That's crazy numbers. So another thing I want to show you guys. So guys, I want to show you this Reddit post now. This is going to go into bigger details and show you something that a lot of people aren't really talking about. And it's a really fascinating point. So this post right here talks about the sales. Like we said, it's 700K lower for ZA compared to Legends Arceus. So this one's a 6.5 and this one's a 5.8. But something they bring up here in this post, it's very interesting that a lot of people have not been bringing up, is that it says right here, and remember when Arceus came out, the Switch had sold around 100 million copies. Now it's around 150 million. So I'm not sure if they're taking that in consideration with the Switch 2 or just the Switch in general. But let's just pretend it's a Switch 2. So that's a 50% more of a potential buyer base. So when you had 100 million copies out there and you sold 6.5 million for Legends Arceus, that's a 6.5% of purchases for the platform. So you had 100 million copies of the Switch out there, 6.5% of the Switch owners bought the Pokemon game. So now we have 150 million. 150 million would be a 3.8%. 3.8% now. So you have dropped almost half in the percentage of potential buyers to actual buyers. So yes, the numbers are similar. So you could skew and be like, it's look at this, man. It's so similar. It's not that big of a flop like you said it was. But in reality, it's dropped almost half of potential buyers, because we had 100 mil at 6.5%, and now you have a 8% it was. So that's a major drop. That's a massive drop. And a lot of people are going to say, well, Arceus, some coping things I've seen is Arceus came out and it was cheaper. Dude, it only came out 3 years ago. It was what, $10 cheaper, if that, I think. Like, if you're buying a Switch 2 to play Pokemon, I'm sure you're not hurting for $10. You know what I mean? I didn't buy Pokemon because I didn't want to pay for a $500 waste of money Switch 2. Because the Switch 2, if you know, it's having a lot of issues, and it's barely any better than the Switch 1. It's basically like what Nintendo is doing nowadays is basically forcing you to buy consoles, not games. Because you don't need these consoles for the games. You need the game for the console. Like, it's ridiculous what they're doing. They're forcing you into these consoles that you don't even need. They're locking you into, it's like basically they're bullying you into buying these things. So like, fortunately, we're able to play ZA if you did buy it on the Switch 1, but moving forward, we're going to be locked to the Switch 2, and the Switch 2 is not much more impressive than the Switch 1. Realistically, it shouldn't even exist. And then when they say, oh, the consoles, you know, they can't handle it, it's like, dude, you make the consoles. Like, what are you talking about? Make a better console. So we have these numbers here. I just wanted to give this quick little rundown for you guys because it's not as peachy as they say it is. It's not as good as they say this. These articles out there that are posting these numbers, they are trying to just sugarcoat it, just trying to put a nice headline out there so you don't look into the context. But when you look into the context, it's not good. The numbers are down. The fan outrage is higher than it's ever been. It's not a win for me. If you, yes, you made your money back. You made your money back and then some. You needed 200, 300, 400,000, whatever copies to make. You made your money back. But besides that, everything else is down. Your revenue's down. Your sales are down. Your company's credibility is down. Your fan base's loyalty is down. Now you have these like wars on X, and like you have people like now going for each other's throat. If you like it, you're a freaking idiot, and if you comment on it, you're a freaking idiot. Like, everybody hates everybody now. They have fractured the community, and it's quite shocking that every franchise that we love, it's like somehow some group of people get involved and make the fans fracture. Politics, you know, if you grew up in the early 90s or 2000s, people weren't aligned in politics, but nobody hated each other. It's like a new thing that everybody hates each other based on your politics. In the 90s and the 2000s, nobody really talked about politics. It was rude to ask somebody who they voted for. Now everybody talks about politics, and it's fractured the country. Star Wars. they have fractured the Star Wars fans. They have fractured the Marvel fans. Now they have fractured the Pokemon fans. It's like some people get in there and their goal is just to like fracture and cause chaos, it seems like. And I just don't understand why and what this is happening. It feels like it's by design, but it is what it is, guys. So I just wanted to give you this quick little video to show you that, yeah, $6 million or 6 million copies is great and everything, but it isn't as good as it seems. So it almost makes you cry, dude. It almost makes you sad about this whole Pokemon situation. Another franchise down the drain, or slowly it's starting to spiral down the drain. So all right, guys, so that's it. See you for the next video. We're gonna do some reactions, and we're gonna talk about this Maya Emaru misgift thing, because dude, it's terrible. So we'll have that video as well, and woof, that one's gonna be a tough one because this is not looking pretty for that situation. But for gaming news, this is what I got for you guys. See you guys for the next one. Remember, like and subscribe for more reaction, original content, reaction on gaming, news, social media drama, and other stuff. So appreciate you guys watching. It means the world to me. Peace out.